So how do you do this? It all really starts with actually caring about and understanding the health of your organization's emotional and leadership culture, right? And this is different, I think, than an engagement survey, right? I think this is different, right? The tool we use to help organizations think about this is different than just a run-of-the-mill engagement survey, right? And so there's sort of this staircase that we look for when we help organizations with change initiatives and with change projects. And that staircase starts with dignity and respect, which quite frankly is a phrase that causes the hair on the back of my neck to stand up. And the reason is because that's the lowest form of respect for people. I don't really care how many hotlines you have, what your bereavement policy is, right? How many yoga sessions you pay for or meditation classes you have. At the end of the day, when an organization tells us, oh yeah, we have a respect for people culture, right? We treat everyone with dignity and respect. That's in our mission and it's on all the walls and all that kind of stuff. Really what we've found is that you're trying to governance your way to respect for people, right? And so that's why we say it's the lowest form. And then as you move through this, right, things like teamwork, and teamwork, by the way, is not measured by the results a team gets, or it's not even defined by people who work together, right? It's really defined by the level of trust that people have for one another, right? How big a learning, right? Is learning and development a big thing for your organization? How do you communicate, right? We hear all the time, oh, we talk to our people all the time. That sends a red flag for us, because we really don't want you talking to your people. We want you talking with your people. And there's a big difference, right? And then there's leadership courage, leadership compassion, leadership vulnerability. And then ultimately, right, are you connecting your people to a bigger purpose, right? Or, and I worked in an environment like this, and I used to have conversations with my boss all the time when he came to visit my facility when I was president of a division or an operating company. Nobody comes to work to create shareholder value. That doesn't move the needle for anybody, right? What's the purpose that we're connecting people to? And so the more of these elements that are present, the better. But there are 3 elements on this page that if they are not there, it really doesn't matter, right? I don't care how great your purpose is. If these 3 elements are not present, and we refer to them as the golden circle, then this whole thing falls apart, right? And you are likely working really hard as an organization, but your circles are not overlapping very well, right? Purpose means nothing without these 3 things. And so let me define them for you, right? So leadership courage, that's a leader's ability and willingness to make the tough decisions to do what's right, whether or not that decision will bring negative consequences to them or to the organization, right? So it's people's measure of, will my leader do the right thing? Can I count on them to do the right thing? Always, right? Regardless of the policy, regardless of the politics, right? Regardless of the culture, will my leader really do the right thing, even if there's some negative consequences that may come from that? Leadership compassion, right? The question that the organization, frankly, both up and down the leader, above and below the leader, are looking for the leader to answer is, does this leader care as much about me as they do themselves, right? And if I can't get that sense, then I'm checking out at some level, right? I am disengaged at some level. I am maybe feeling burned out at some level, right? You throw a change on top of these three elements not being there and these three circles not being aligned, and the resistance and the emotional component is frankly overwhelming, right? And then the third piece of the circle, right, the golden circle, is leadership vulnerability. And that's the leader's willingness to admit and share their struggles when they don't have all the answers, when they need help, right? That's what creates the environment for your people to be able to raise their hands and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, right? I need some help with this. Or I don't think I agree with this. Why are we doing this, right? If the leader is not sharing that vulnerability, then the organization probably, or the team probably, doesn't share that same vulnerability and is likely going to sit silent, and passive aggressiveness sets in, right? And the team, the esprit de corps, everything just starts to erode, right? So the golden circle is really the key here, right? I will take an organization that doesn't have a very strong purpose, or maybe doesn't communicate very well. In fact, we've done work in an organization that was like this, but has leaders who demonstrate leadership courage, leadership compassion, and leadership vulnerability. I'll take those organizations every day over ones that claim to be high performing and beat their chest and focus on the results and drive the numbers, but sort of only think about their people, and their leaders don't demonstrate these characteristics. I will take the first organization over the second any day,